Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review comes from 1957, and it's The River's Edge, excuse me, directed by Alan Dwan, D-W-A-N, starring Anthony Quinn, Ray Milland, and Debra Paget, or Paget. This is a Twilight Time Blu-ray. You get a little booklet with an essay in it, and you also get isolated music and effects track, an audio commentary with film historians Elaine Silver and James Orsini, and an original theatrical trailer. So Alan Dwan was a Canadian born director who made lots of interesting different little films. He made The Sands of Iwo Jima, he made Silver Load, which is a really interesting western. He made the original Brewster's Millions before it was remade with Richard Pryor. And this film is essentially a three-hander. It's really a western for all intents and purposes, but set in the present day. Anthony Quinn is married to Debra Paget, and they live in a ranch, a struggling ranch that Anthony Quinn's just started out. And Ray Milland appears on the scene looking for a guide to go over the Mexican border, but we find out that Milland and Paget have a history. We find out that Quinn married Paget to get her out of prison. So we see in their little house in the ranch, they sleep in separate beds. She doesn't really love him. It's more he did her a favour to get her out of prison early, because she was on a 10-year sentence, but she got out a year early because she married Anthony Quinn. And of course it turns out Ray Milland was the reason she was in prison for 10 years. This film is in bright Technicolor. It's almost too colourful. Everybody's face is quite orange. Debra Paget's hair is quite red and orange. It kind of reminded me a bit of Robert Aldrich's classic Attack with Jack Palance, Eddie Albert and Lee Marvin, as far as a film that has some locations, but it also has these kind of artificial looking sets. There's a scene later in the film where they're in a cave and it's obviously like paper mache, but for some reason it kind of lends it to the heightened emotional and kind of sexual tension that's in the film. So I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything. You're going to have to watch it yourself, because it's a lovely little potboiler. But they eventually have to leave the ranch and try and get over the Mexican border. There's lots of scenes of one of the men kissing Paget or about to kiss Paget, and the other man watching in the shadows or watching from a distance or coming in and interrupting them, or as Quinn learns about the past between Milland and Paget. Milland is on the run with a suitcase full of money. The money becomes a symbol of lots of things. At times the money is sacrificed for their survival. other things are sacrificed because of the money. They come across a few characters on their journey who meet with different endings and different fates. It's another example of those 50s films where there's no real budget. Obviously there's not lots of locations, but everybody's sweating. Ray Milland, who, if you watch this channel, know that I have a real soft spot for Ray Milland. Strangely enough, he plays another desperate character with shifty eyes, who's always got an angle. He's always creating stories and excuses for his own behaviour. But Debra Paget gives a really good performance in this, as she is kind of indebted to Anthony Quinn for getting her out of prison early, but she still has feelings for Ray Milland's character, and there's an excitement for Ray Milland's character rather than Anthony Quinn's kind of more dependable, safe character, if you could believe Anthony Quinn being kind of a safe character in a film, because he's usually the edgy one. And as the events of the film unfold, her allegiances and her ideas of what love is and what lust is and what it's actually meaning, you know, as far as which one of them actually cares about her and which one of them is just using her for his own ends. There's some wonderful scenes where characters get hurt and other characters help them out, and then there's other characters who watch this happening and are almost kind of, you know, can't understand what helping somebody actually feels like, or because they're just so distanced from real life and real feelings. The film has a wonderful ending, which again I'm not going to spoil too much. You're going to have to track it down and watch it yourself, if you can get your hands on it. But essentially a character is given a choice at the end of the film. You can go one way and go get help, but that takes you away from your objective. Or you can go another way, leave people to die essentially, but you'll get what you want. And it's really interesting when you find out what happens, because you might be able to guess, oh, it's an American film, it's a Hollywood film, so they're going to make this decision. But the reward they get for that decision is kind of jaw-droppingly wonderful, depending on your viewpoint. So I'm not going to spoil it, that's all I'm going to say about it. But it's a little gem. Again, if you're a Ray Milland fan, it's an essential little film. Again, I'd never really heard of it. I just kind of came across some cheap Twilight Time releases on eBay, so I kind of jumped at it. As soon as I saw Anthony Quinn, Ray Milland, I kind of jumped at it. I'm still to check out the commentary, but I will do, because it is a film I'm going to be watching again. Yeah, it's just a lovely little potboiler, a wonderful three-headed monster. Again, the Technicolor is almost too Technicolor. It's one of those 50s where colour is just saturated. Everybody's orange. The landscape's as dry and as yellow and orange as you can imagine. There's some brutality in it. There's actually some strong scenes of the results of violence. But it's just a lovely little three-headed monster. So thanks very much for watching this random review of The River's Edge. Please let me know in the comments if you've seen it before, what you thought of it, and hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. And there's an epic box set battle coming up. That's all I'll say. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films saying cheerio.